What is going on, everybody? I hope you guys are having an awesome day here. For today's video, we're going to be doing something here quite a bit different from this point on. Everybody knew that I was doing vlogging for so long, but it's time to switch it up, everyone. So for today's video, we're going to go ahead and actually do a care guide for 2024 on how to care for garter snakes. Garter snakes are hands down one of the easiest snake species to care for, everybody. They are literally a very docile reptile to own. They're not so defensive compared to like some other snake species like Texas rats and a few other colubrid species. And these guys are so literally, like I said, they're gentle. They're actually very social. As a matter of fact, these snakes are one of the few species that in captivity that you can actually cohabit together in groups. You also, a little disclaimer though, you've got to be careful when you guys do cohabit garter snakes together, because there is the risks of the chance for cannibalism, which is rare in cohabiting garter snakes, but you also want to be, the main concern is you want to be careful with the gender of them. Make sure they're all the same sex in the cage. You don't want to accidentally have a male and a female in a single cage together and have an accidental litter of babies with them and not knowing what to do with them. So, and speaking of babies, garter snakes are actually what are known as live bearers, meaning that they actually give live birth. And these guys, on average, usually litter about 25 babies is an average litter, but they're having some in captivity that produce as many as up to almost 100 in a single litter I think is the record. The biggest litter I've ever seen was about 46. And this girl right here, everybody knows, my girl Lucy here, my beautiful common garter snake, she actually was part of that litter of a total of 46 babies. A disclaimer, another one at that, her mother was wild caught, and I mean I was only about 15 years old, 15, 16 at the time when I found her mom. Habitat where her mom was living at was starting to get decimated actually by I guess by some landowners, so I decided to go ahead and actually kind of do a little quick rescue and save her mom, because literally it was getting to that time when they were about to start having babies. So immediately once Lucy and her siblings were born, I immediately released her mom and her siblings back out to the wild immediately, everybody, so they could thrive on their own and start learning all the basic lives of survival out there. But Lucy was one I kept because she was just such a sweetie, everybody, from literally the moment I had her since she was itty bitty. Now, when it comes to garter snakes, everybody, one thing that is nice about them is the price value for them. It depends on the species you're getting. For species like Lucy's here, it's not really that expensive. I think the average price for a baby common garter snake is probably like 50 bucks a piece, which is pretty affordable. But for a full-grown adult like her, it's probably going to be about 150, probably close to 200. And like I said, and the reason she's a common garter snake is because her species has the largest range of any other species of garter snake. Now, there are dozens of other species of them throughout the continent of North America. That includes Canada and Mexico. There are a few other species that are very popular in the pet trade, like plains garter snakes are very popular. Checker garter snakes, I think, are actually the most common one you see in captivity because they're relatively affordable and also very easy to care for too. That's just really awesome. And of course there are albino garter snakes in captivity as well. As a matter of fact, for those of you guys that used to watch me do vlogging, I actually do have a couple of albino checker garter snakes as well. I got an adult male named Tyson, and I have a little young female named Sprinkle Cheese. Now when it comes to garter snakes, these guys actually are also known to be pretty easy to feed here. Now, a lot of times when it comes to captive feeding snakes, everybody, a lot of people think about feeding them just rodents and stuff. Well, with garter snakes, you don't actually have to just feed them rodents. You can feed them actually sometimes some earthworms or even some fish fillets too, because that's what they eat in the wild actually. Sometimes they will eat earthworms and small fish. When they're babies, for example, it's always a good idea to start giving them very small cut up pieces of earthworms or little pieces of like tiny pieces of tilapia, because they are so small and fragile that you don't want them to risk having a choking hazard and unfortunately a disaster happening. Now when it comes to getting specific earthworms or fish, everybody, tilapia is definitely one of them because it has no diamnesis in it, which a lot of fish species do tend to have. And when it comes to earthworms, get Canadian night crawlers because they actually are wigglers. They are known to be pretty toxic. They have actually a type of toxin in them that can actually make snake garter snakes get sick. So, and the food is really affordable too, which is awesome as well. So you don't have to feed them rodents at all, especially when they get to an adult size like this, like Lucy. You don't have to feed them mice. You could still feed them pieces of earthworms or even cut up pieces of tilapia. Or sometimes it's not a bad idea either to kind of like mix it up a little bit with a bit of earthworms and tilapia, kind of to help maintain a stable appetite. But a lot of times, colubrid keepers like me mostly just stick to rodents when they're full grown because it's obviously got a lot of nutrition in them to keep them healthy. Obviously, as you can see, my girl Lucy has come a long way from switching over to mice. The neat thing about garter snakes here, everybody, is caging. Caging is also really affordable as well. Where my garter snake Lucy stays in, everybody, is a 20-gallon terrarium. And that's about probably the minimum size for an adult female garter snake. Now, an adult male will also do perfectly fine in a 20-gallon, but if you're planning on co-having garter snakes together, definitely upgrade it to at least a 40, maybe a 60-gallon at most, because, I mean, obviously you're gonna have a few snakes crawling around that are gonna have a little bit less room, you know, to move and exercise, and it's gonna be pretty cramped in there if you keep them in a 20-gallon tank, everybody. So Lucy, she's pretty lucky to actually have a place of her own, even though she's a very social animal no matter what. And oh, look at that. Hi. You saying hi to everybody? She also just ate yesterday too, so I'm just trying to make sure she doesn't go all goo-goo all over on me here. But nonetheless, everybody, garter snakes are just an amazing pet snake to have. Like I said, they're easy to care for. Great beginner pet snakes, everyone. They're inexpensive to care for. Oh, and I forgot to mention to everybody, make sure that you actually do provide a little bit of like decoration in their cage, like whether it's like fake plants or like some tree branches, because a lot of people don't realize it, but sometimes garter snakes on occasions will climb up off the ground once in a while. I have noticed that with my garter snakes in captivity over the years. And of course, obviously you gotta have a hide and a water bowl for them because they need water to stay hydrated at all times. Now, when it comes to lighting, obviously make sure it's a UVB bulb, and make sure it's providing daytime heat for them, but make sure it's not too hot to the touch, everybody. Temperature range on average for garter snakes is roughly somewhere between 80 and 90 degrees for daytime high. Hot spot, definitely a 90 up there for sure. Obviously, make sure it's providing enough heat for them so they can actually reach up to it and actually get some basking underneath it to start the day. And garter snakes come in a variety of different like colors and morphs out there. There's a few different species that I have seen actually sell the reptile shows. As a matter of fact, I think one of the most recent garter snake species that's been in the uprise for the last few years is the California red-sided garter snake, which is definitely one of the prettiest species I've seen on the market, everybody, but they are very expensive because obviously they are high value right now. So unfortunately, I can't get my hands on one yet. But with this, though, I'm happy for what I got, everybody. Now, I'm not saying go ahead and buy a pet snake, everybody, like a garter snake or anything. If you guys want to stick with something also kind of simple, like a corn snake, that's totally fine, everybody. But garter snakes are a great beginner, everybody. And like I said, if you want to get a snake that doesn't eat rodents, garter snakes are probably the best choice for you because they can actually just stay off of a rodent diet completely throughout the majority of their lives. Okay, everybody, so it's a couple days later and I'm just going through the editing process here on the video, and apparently I guess for the intro I accidentally I tried to use my other camera, which is my Lumix camera. That's what I use to film my main videos, but on this camera I had to shoot with a Canon because for some reason the external mic that this one is attached to on my Canon doesn't work on my Lumix. I'm not sure why, so I ordered a new mic for the other camera. And the background noise on it is not too great, I just realized. So for those of you guys that were hearing that background noise, do apologize for the inconvenience. Hopefully for the next video that will not happen again. The mic was not working. I just want to get that clear, everyone. So I'm very sorry about that. And don't worry about my hair, you guys. I just got a haircut not too long ago. Oh, it'll grow back. Feel free to smash that like button, everybody. If you guys actually are looking forward to actually this new series I'm going to start up doing, then feel free to smash that subscribe button too, everybody. And like I said, 2024, it's going to be completely a different start to my life here, everybody. And I want to bring you guys along with that as much as possible. And alright, everyone, I'm going to go ahead and let you all go. So I'll see you guys next time.